Good day, everyone. Today we'll discuss the part 1 of our lesson on load characteristics. Load characteristics in the planning of an electrical distribution system, as in any other enterprise, it is necessary to know three basic things. First, the quantity of the product or service desired, that is the per unit of time. Next is the quality of the product or service desired. And third is the location of the market and the individual consumers. Logically, then, it would be well to begin with the basic building blocks, the individual consumers, and then determine efficient means of supplying their wants individually and collectively. We have the different types of loads. We have three, such as the residential, commercial, and industrial. Residential loads. This mainly consists of lights, fans, refrigerators, air conditioners, mixer, ovens, small pumping motor, and others. In the figure, you can see the typical load curve for a residential load. Next is the commercial load. This mainly consists of lighting for shops, offices, advertisements, and others, fans, heating, air conditioning, and many other electrical appliances used in commercial establishments such as marketplaces, restaurants, and others. And for the figure as shown, that is the typical load curve for a commercial load. The last type is the industrial load. This consists of small-scale industries, medium-scale industries, large-scale industries, and heavy industries. As shown in the figure, that is the typical load curve for an industrial load. Load curve. That is the curve showing the variation of load on the power system with respect to time. As shown in the figure, that is what we call the load curve. What are the significance of load curves? The daily load curves have attained a great importance in generation as they supply the following information readily. First, the daily load curve shows the variations of load on the power system during different hours of the day. Next is the area under the daily load curve gives the number of units generated in the day. Next, the highest point on the daily load curve represents the maximum demand on the station on that day. Fourth, the area under the daily load curve divided by the total number of hours gives the average load on the station in the day. Fifth, the ratio of the area under the load curve to the total area of rectangle in which it is contained gives the load factor. Sixth, the load curve helps in selecting the size and number of generating units. And last, the load curve helps in the preparation of operation schedule of the station. Connected loads. A good place to start is the tabulation of all electric devices, such as lamps, appliances, equipment, and others, that consumers can connect to their supply system. The ratings of the devices at specified voltages, and sometimes frequency and temperature, limits are usually contained in a nameplate or other published data accompanying the devices. The devices can be classified into four broad general categories. We have lighting, power, heating, and electronic. Lighting loads included under lighting are incandescent and fluorescent lamps, neon lights, and mercury vapor, sodium vapor, and metal halide lights. Nominal voltages specified for lighting are usually 120. This is for US. And then in the Philippines, we have 240 volts. And then some other country use 277 volts. Variation may exist from the base value of the 120 volt system. We can have 115 and 125. In the Philippines, we have 230 volts for the lighting. They all operate with DC or a single phase AC. Power loads. Generally included in power loads are motors of all sizes. We have direct current shunt, compound, and series types. We have alternating current, single phase and polyphase, induction and synchronous types, and then universal or the series for both DC and AC operation. Heating loads. We have two types, residential heating and industrial heating. For residential heating, it includes ranges for cooking, hot water heaters, toasters, irons, clothes dryers, and other such appliances, and house heating. For industrial heating, this may include large space heaters, ovens for baking, heat treating, enameling, and others, furnaces, such as steel, brass, others, welders, and high-frequency heating devices. Electronic loads, this includes radio, television, X-rays, laser equipment, computers, digital time and timing devices, rectifiers, oscillators for high-frequency current production, and many other electronical equipment or electronically operated devices. That ends our part 1 for our lesson on load characteristics. Thank you.